Good afternoon. My name is Dok Kim from the chemistry department of Sungkyunkwan University. In the spring semester of 2026, I'm going to teach advanced physical chemistry for the graduate student of the chemistry department as well as the undergraduate student. I'm going to explain how I will manage this class shortly and then go to the real content of physical chemistry. The first slide here summarizes about the management of the class for the whole semester. We have offline class on every Tuesday, starting from 3 p.m. Up to 4:15. And this is, as I mentioned, offline class, so this is in-person lecture. What is important thing to mention is that in this lecture, so I'm going to mostly use Korean language. So if you feel more comfortable with English, then you can also ask me in English, and also I can give you answers in English. We can also discuss things in English, but I will try to use mostly Korean in this in-person lecture for like 75 minutes. And then we have additionally online lecture every week. So I will upload a class video every week with a duration of something like 60 to 70 minutes. And this video is also one of them. Okay. So an online lecture will be uploaded every week. And this online lecture will be given in English. Okay. So what I'm going to do is the following thing. A week ahead, so I upload one online content in English, okay, and then in the offline class, in the in-person lecture, I'm going to basically repeat what I have already explained in the already uploaded online class in Korean, and then we can also try to discuss about things that which have not been very clarified for you during the online class. Okay. So basically, we have an online lecture in English. You watch it, okay, before you come to the offline class, and then in the offline class, I will give the almost the same lecture in not in English but in Korean this time. Okay, and then during the online class we can make discussion. You can ask me things. Okay, I can answer your questions or something like that. Okay, so grading. Grading is an absolute evaluation. So what does it mean? You know about relative relative evaluation, relative evaluation, relative evaluation in Korean, in 상대평가 in Korean, right? So in relative evaluation, only up to 50% of the participant of the lecture can get A or A plus. Only up to 90% of the participant of the class can get or B, something like that. Okay, so you have to basically compete with each other among the students. Now, in absolute evaluation, and this is now absolute evaluation because this is basically a course for the graduate student. So generally, the courses for the graduate student are graded based on the absolute evaluation. The absolute evaluation well simply means that if you are all very good, then I can give you all A plus. Okay, so that is absolute evaluation. So I think in my lecture when I grade based on absolute evaluation, and generally you will get better grade than expected in relative evaluation. So if you are very good in attendance and also in examinations, there is no reason not to give A plus to everybody. That is my, well, thinking, thought about relative, the absolute evaluation. Right? Okay, attendance policy, well, 30 point out of 100 point. Attendance is required for all online and offline classes. So we have offline class on Tuesday, well, starting from 3 p.m. They already uploaded online content should be watched completely before you come to the offline class. So, but in principle, you have to watch this video. In principle, you have to watch this video before the first offline class, which will take place on 3rd of March, starting from 3 p.m. on Tuesday. But later on, I'm going to tell you that on the first week, you're not going to check the attendance, so you don't have to worry about that. But anyhow, basically, I will upload a movie, and then you have to watch this movie before you come to the offline class, okay? And then you participate in the offline class, and then what is going to happen is that you first uh, watch the English lecture, okay, and then you come to the class, and basically you can uh, uh, get the Korean lecture from myself, and then also in the offline lecture we can have discussion if it is required. So offline class. So for regarding the attendance policy, offline class attendance is checked using the automatic attendance system. So probably if you are brand new here in SKK, you may not be familiar with this, but probably in the offline class, I'm going to show you how it works. Uh, as I already mentioned, for the first week, I'm not going to check the attendance, so you don't have to worry about the first attendance, the attendance of the first week. Okay. If you are late by more than 10 minutes, then you are going to be marked as late. Okay. Late by more than 25 minutes, so then probably marked as absent. I mean, we have 70 to 75 minutes of lecture, and if you're late by more than 25 minutes, then probably, uh, yeah, probably it would be fair to be marked as absent because you actually miss in this case almost 40% of the whole lecture. Right? So online lectures, as I told you already, uh, online lecture will be uploaded on iCampus every Wednesday. So today is also Wednesday, but anyhow, so the day that I'm recording this video is 25th of February. So this is Wednesday. And also next week, next Tuesday, which is 3rd of March, I'm going to give offline lecture. And then within one day, after giving this offline lecture, I'm going to upload another uh, online content. Okay, and then this must be completed before the next offline class. Okay, so I give an offline class, and then I upload additional online content within one day of the completion of the offline class. Okay, and then you have to watch this newly added online content until uh, the beginning of next offline lecture. I'm going to repeat this also. I'm going to repeat the whole thing in Korean in my first offline lecture. Okay. So absence policy, up to 2 absences are allowed without penalty. So generally, that does not happen that often for the undergraduate student, but for the graduate student, I mean, sometimes you have to go to conference so that you cannot attend the lecture. Sometimes what is very widely happening is that you have some system errors so that your automatic attendance system didn't work well, so that your attendance is not checked. So there is sometimes this kind of technical issue. these all, so conference attendance, system errors should be handled within this two. Okay, up to two absences, you're allowed without any penalty. So if you have some system problem, technical problem, or you have to go to conference attend, uh, you have to go for conference, and you don't have to report me for those issues, and you can handle these within this two. From the third absence, 4 points out of 30 will be deducted per absence. The two late arrivals count as one absence. Attendance is not acted during the first week, as I said already. For this movie and for the first offline class, I'm not going to check the attendance because some of the students may not be very familiar with the automatic attendance system, and also probably, I mean, for the first week of the semester, you have also a chance to change to another class, going out from this place or newly coming from another class. So it is more convenient for me to not to check the attendance for the first week. So basically, we are going to have 16 weeks, and for the first week, we have 16 weeks per semester generally. The last week we are going to have final term examination. Okay, we are not going to have midterm examination, but we have only final term examination. Okay, so from 16 weeks, probably I will try to give lectures, well, 14 to 15 times, 14 to 15 times of the online class, and also 14 to 15 times of the offline class. Okay, so and then for the first week, I'm not checking uh, the the attendance, and you have two chances not to be present without any penalty. So I think this is not that strict. Um, in case of unavoidable absence due to, for example, I mean military service training, in Korean 예비군 훈련 or 민방위 훈련, whatever. So, or if you are sick, so that you cannot come to the lecture, the offline lecture. For those cases, let me know. Okay, if you are sick or if you have military service. Okay, these are more, I would say, official reasons not to be able to come to class. So in this case, let me know. So if you have the proper document, then I will not give you any penalty for that absence. Okay. Final term. Final exam. So we have 70 points. So basically, out of the 100 point, we have 30 point of the attendance and 70 point of the final term examination. I don't have any report. I don't have any, I mean, midterm examination or any other things. The evaluation will be only based on the attendance and final term examination. So as I told you already, attendance policy is not that strict, I think. And we will have final term examination. Okay, so final term examination based on the essay type questions. Probably I will give you 6 to 7 questions. Well, well, I will make the final term examination on the 16th week, on the last week of the semester, right? Last week of the semester, and then during this offline class time, I will have the final term examination. So examination will take probably 60 to 70 minutes, I think. So as I said already, I'm going to give you 6 to 7 essay type questions. And potential exam problems will be released during the class. So the questions are based on entirely on lecture content. So I'm going to show you some example. Here, I have a lecture material of like 25, 23 pages of 20 pages of content about quantum chemistry. Okay, so I'm not sure whether I can complete all of this today, but anyhow, if from time to time, not in every lecture, but from time to time during the lecture, I will give, I mean, point which for me are actually very important to to keep in mind actually from the lecture content that I have provided you. So here, for example, for the preparation of the final term examination, so 1s, 2s, 2p, 3s, 3p, 3d, and 4s. Write order of these orbitals in terms of energy in a hydrogen atom with one electron. Write number of nodes in each orbital. Explain the relationship of number of node and energy, and why number of node determines energy. Explain order of electrons in multi-electron system. So this is these are all explained during the lecture. Okay, so after, for example, after finishing one material with something like 20 pages, I'm going to provide you several questions which are quite important to be kept in mind among the contents of the lecture I provide you. Okay, so from time to time I will give you kind of potential problems for the final term examination. Okay, so we have 14, 15 weeks. Every week probably I could give you a couple of questions, or every second week's probably 3 or 4 questions. At the end of the semester, probably I will have something like, 25 to 30 potential problems. Okay, among those, I'm going to select 6 to 7. Okay, so if your attendance is okay, and if you give me answers to the questions of the final term examinations reasonably good, then there is no reason not to give you a plus from this lecture. This lecture covers the basic of quantum mechanics and spectroscopy and statistical thermodynamics. So this is a kind of main bone of physical chemistry. So starting from quantum mechanics, we learn about why energy levels are quantized. Energy levels are quantized. Why we have discrete energy levels. And for atoms and molecules, what kind of quantized energy levels exist in an atom or molecule? That is actually something we learn from quantum mechanics. The key of the quantum mechanics is the quantization of the energy. Energy levels quantized. There are discrete energy levels. Every motion, okay, every energy of a molecule or atom should have quantum energy levels. That is actually something we learn in quantum mechanics. Now, going to spectroscopy, what do you learn in spectroscopy? In spectroscopy, we learn that only the energy of the light, which is the same as the energy gap between quantized energy levels, okay, only this light can be absorbed or emitted. That means that using spectroscopy method, we can learn about the quantum energy levels quantitatively. So this is experimental verification about the quantum mechanics, right? Now, going to statistical thermodynamics, what we learn is that, for example, we have 1,000 molecules with the same structure at a given temperature of T. Some molecules are on the ground state, some molecules are at the first excited state. There are also other molecules which are in the second excited state, third excited state, and so on and so forth. In statistical thermodynamics, when you know temperature and when you know the energy of the quantum levels quantitatively, then you can determine the portion of the molecules at every energy level. Okay, if you know the energy of each level, and if you know number of molecules of population at each level, what you can know is that you can know the total energy. Okay, and you can not only total energy, but also you can calculate entropy, okay, Gibbs free energy, and so on and so forth. Okay, based on this microscopic view of the quantum energy level of each molecule. So, starting from the microscopic view, we learn about the principle of this microscopic world, which is quantum mechanics. We learn about how we can verify this microscopic world using experimental method, and that is spectroscopy. This is basically based on the interaction between light and molecules. And then ultimately, what we learn is that when you know the quantum energy levels of molecules, then for a macroscopic system where you have really a large number of molecules, you can determine, based on the microscopic view, the total energy of the system, and it goes to macroscopic thermodynamics and thermodynamic functions like internal energy, entropy, Gibbs free energy, something like that. So that is basically the main flow of the physical chemistry, starting from quantum mechanics, spectroscopy, statistical thermodynamics. You're going to see this kind of overview of physical chemistry in this lecture. So I'm not really going to go into deep details of every subdiscipline in this class, but I will try to give you a kind of broad overview about different disciplines of chemistry, physical chemistry, and how they are related to each other. Okay, so let me have a break shortly.